Hi everybody, Jess here from Devine D-Zine, and I thought we'd talk today a little bit about polishing. I'm sure there are better ways to do this. I don't know what they are. I've looked forever online. I've bought tutorials, and what it comes down to is going from a really harsh grit of sandpaper to a really super duper duper fine grit of sandpaper. And obviously the finer you get, the higher your polish. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that I have found that you can polish. And the first is what you see in front of you here, and these are nail buffing blocks. And they come in all kinds of different grits. So this one right here actually is written on it that it is, let's turn it around, that it is 60, 60, 100. So, and you're not going to go from 60 straight to 100. I mean, you can, but you're going to want something in between. And then we come up with the 80, 120. And so on and so forth, alternating from lowest to highest. So you're going to go 60, 80, 100. This is also 100. Some of them repeat because they have multiple grits in a block. This one is actually a 4-in-1. No, well, it's a 3-in-1. Two sides of it are 360. One side is 4,000 and one side is 400. And I just bought all mine off of Amazon. So you can search them on Amazon. I don't want to recommend a company because I have some stuff from a company that I don't agree with their ethics once I found out about them, so I don't use them. But you can just search nail buffing blocks in different grits on Amazon and you'll find them. The next thing that you have other than the buffing blocks, which, I mean, these are convenient. What's more economical is going to be a multi-pack of sandpaper in varying grits. This one goes from 120, 150, 180, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,500. I think that might be the highest. Oh, nope, 3,000. 3,000 is the highest grit this goes up to. So this is like super fine here. So these, you can buy small sheets that are flat, and you can use these for like putting a piece of tape on the back of your blank, and then, you know, doing a figure 8 or scratching in one way and then going in another way on the next grit. Your idea when you're going between grits is always to get rid of the polishing lines from the grit before. Also, for small crevices, if you're making rings or bezels, you have these great little silicone wheels. And there's 6 different grits of them. I don't have them all right in front of me here, but they go from a really rough grit to a really fine grit. And these I also purchased off Amazon. These come in a little kit. They're way cheaper than if you buy them from a jewelry supply place. And they go from 80 grit to I can't remember, hold on, 1,000. Another thing you can use are these little mandrels that have sandpaper wrapped around them. They're not real convenient because you have only a small surface area and it doesn't take long before you have to change the piece of paper off. But they're great for when you're doing rings. I really love them for rings, and they come in 6 different grits. In addition to your short pieces of sandpaper, you can get large pieces of sandpaper and wrap them around paint sticks, and those are called sanding sticks. Those are a great cheap tool also. The really rough grit is going to really take off metal. You only want to use that if you're missing metal. So if you got deep scratches you want to get out, then you'll go to a really, really strong grit, working down to the fine. Then for fine polishing, there are things like the sunshine cloth or jewelry cleaning cloths, right? So these have little micro abrasives in them, and they will give you a light shine to your just something that just needs a light polish, not deep scratches. So let's take, okay, I have this blank right here. Let's see. It says, dried safe, I need my honey. And it's been laying around on my desk, and I don't know if you can see, but it's got a couple of little scratches. Some up here by the airplane. Can you see those? And I'm actually going to scratch it up some more. Oh, you can see a nice scratch right there by that bee, by the truck, right? Okay. And now I'm going to take it and I am going to scratch it up and see how much of the scratches we can get out. Oh, whoops. Oh, man. Oh, look at that. Okay. This is a piece of copper wire that has been taken to a little bit of a point. And then I'll put in a kind of a really deep one right there. Okay. I have, can you see it? Scratched up my blank. I don't know how deep I went, but I mean enough that if you just use a pro polish pad or a polishing cloth, you can't polish them out. I guess it helps if I show you doing it. Okay, ready? This is a sunshine cloth. Still see my scratches. You see them all? Now let's get a pro polishing pad. All right, now I got a pro polishing pad, and I'm gonna go after some of these scratches right here. I mean, I made it nice and shiny, but I didn't take no scratches out of there. Can you see them all? All right. All right, let's start with the 80 grit. And the 80 grit is going to be the hard black stuff. And I will try as much as possible. Well, maybe, let's see if I can zoom in. Okay. All right. Here we go. Although I'm turning it from one side to the other, I am making sure that I'm going in the same direction, back and forth with this. I'm not changing my direction. I might change my blank, but I have to keep going in the exact same direction. And if you look, you can see what we've done is kind of, can you see those scratchies everywhere? Like we've scratched up the entire blank. And here's where you want to look and see, did I get all of my scratches? And I can actually see I've got a little bit of a scratch still there. I've got the deep gouge right here that I put in on purpose next to this bee. But the rest is looking pretty good. So I'm going to go back to work on those two areas. And I can see now that, I mean, I'm not going to get rid of that deep gouge right there. And I'm not going to get rid of that little scratch right there. If I wanted to, I would have to go to a smaller grit, like 60. Which, oddly, I thought I had a 60 here somewhere. Okay, so, because I didn't get them out with the 80, I'm going to go to the 60. And I'm going to concentrate on this piece of bee here and this bee over here where I have some really deep scratches. I don't want to do too much because, you know, I'm taking off the metal. And if you have shallow impressions and you're doing this kind of a grit, you could take them right off. All right, let's see. It looks like I successfully got out that scratch. It's gone. I can still see a little bit of this one over here, so I'm going to go at it again. All right, so really what I should have done was gone at it in a different direction. So that's what I'm going to do now. See if we can't get it out. And now because I did that, I have to do the whole blank in that direction. So you can see all of my scratch lines from this are going at an angle like this. I have to come back now and use my 80 grit because this was a rougher grit. So now I'm going to turn it up and down, and I'm going to go at it like this, not at an angle. Turn it over. Okay. And now if we look, you can see a shadow of it still there. Oh, you can even still kind of see a shadow of that one. It's the best we're going to be able to get done. All right, so we've done 60, we've done 80. Now we're going to move to 100. This is 100. Okay. I have to make sure that I've taken out all of the sideways lines, or I have to keep sanding. And I can still see a little bit of lines going this way. Okay. Next I want to go to, what do we have available to us? 120. So back to our 80 block. So these are rougher than this. This is the lighter grit on this. Okay. And I'll look and see if I can see any of my other marks. I'd like to see a close-up at the blank at this point. I mean, it's got a pretty funky matte finish, but you can't stop now. Well, you could, but you don't want to. This is 120. Next we'll move to 150. Okay. And I will turn the blank at the, all right, so I went like this before. I'm going to turn it like this time. Can you see that? Okay. So here's the difference between 120 and 150. Can you see that? You can see that pretty well, huh? I'm going to make sure I go over the line that I had from the when I did it on the other side before I flipped it. And now I need to look and make sure that I don't see any of the lines going the other direction. I think it's pretty good. Oops. Now we'll go from 150. We'll see what we have next. 240. My block is getting gritty, so I have to hold it down really well. Otherwise it's sliding. All right, that's 240. Now we're going to go to 360. Then we'll go to 400. Okay. All right, here we go. 360. Look at the difference there, huh? Can you see that? Okay, now we'll go to 400. Let's see. And now 4,000. Ideally, you would go up in smaller increments than that. Like I would like to have, let's see, let's open up the sandpaper because there's no rule that says you have to stick to one element. So we'll open up our sandpaper. We were just at 400, so we want something higher than that. We'll go to 600. Okay, so I've got my blank and I've taped it to my fingers, and I'm going to zoom out a little. Alright, here we go. So I've got my blank taped to my hand, and I'm going to go, oh, let's see, what direction did we go in before? Can we even tell? Honestly, I almost can't tell. So we'll do this one up and down. I'm actually going to take it in my hand because I don't know if my sides might have been bigger than the rest of it, so. We'll jump to 1,000. $2,500. Can you see that? All right, and then we're going to go to 4,000. All right, and here's our finished blank. Can you see it? And you'll notice that you don't really see the scratch over there too well. I don't see this one at all. This one I see just a very, very faint spot of. Now I'm going to take this and put this in the tumbler. It's got a bit of a matte finish right now. I prefer a shiny finish. So it will take this matte finish, and a tumbler burnishes your items, which means it rubs metal to metal and makes it shine. So the tumbler will only burnish. It will not take out scratches. It will not take out scratches like the process that we just did. It will only make your scratches shiny. So here you go, and I hope that helped. Hi everybody, here we are. Here outside so that you could see how our blank came out. How shiny it is. And can you see that? You can barely see that scratch over by the bee. You can't see that one at all. We buffed it out. We're looking pretty good for all those scratches. Now, what we didn't do was sand the back. And I could go again and scratch out, buff out all of those scratches, but I want to make sure that I protect the front while I do that, or we'll just, keep going back and forth having to sand it. So there you go. Now you know how to sand out scratches from your blanks. Thanks for stopping by.